So I'm out here on the old cabbie this morning and got my favorite new tool. About to drill some more holes. Super nice day. It's super windy, so I'm not going to do a ton of recording. You've already watched me drill some holes, but just go over what I'm doing here. I drilled these two holes and this one, and the magnetic drill didn't want to stick to as well when there's thick coats of paint or dirt or whatever on there. So what I did on all the other spots, I got my 4-inch angle grinder with a flapper wheel on it, and just real quick knocked off all the stuff where the magnetic section locks on, and then I did the same thing and primed these spots where the holes are going to be. There's going to be one here, and I might potentially have to enlarge these two, but that way when I use my template here and set it up on there, it's going to be a little easier to see my scribe lines, because back when I did that one, I couldn't hardly see my scribes on this stuff here. So I'm going to go ahead and get it myself all set up here and drill some holes. I'll let you watch some of it, but I'm not going to bore you with drilling 400 holes in this frame.
I suck at it, but I love it.
Well, as with everything, there's a learning curve. So as I'm using this tool, I'm finding out, the good ways to use it and the good ways not to. Probably my biggest takeaway is you need to use a lot of oil, and using like in a horizontal position this way, the self oiler doesn't really work, not well anyways. So I made the mistake. These bits are stepped, the ends of them. They've got like different heights. There's on this little bit, there's 4 cutting tips, and they're different heights and they're different shapes. So you got one that looks like it's primarily designed to start the bit in the hole, and then the other one's just kind of cut. Well, I made the mistake of, with no oil at all, just kind of like etching where the bit is in relation to like where it's centered, just by going like blink. That's not the right way to do it. I wound up knocking the points off of the self cutter that gets the bit started, so I was able to kind of grind them back on it, but it's a little wobbly now, so I have to go real slow when I'm just getting started. So just use tons of oil even when you very first start. Next thing I learned is you need to clean the bottom of the magnet real well every time that you use it, and try to keep your surface you're stuck to, oil free. It needs to be nice and dry, and these little flakes get in between your surface and can cause the drill to kind of not stick as well as it should. So with my bit I'm halfway done with the holes for the tanks. So with the bit, marginally compromised, I'm gonna go ahead and tuck myself into this hole where there's barely room to do anything. I mean, the exhaust is right there, the intake's right there, exhaust bracket is right there. Just not much room here, I'm gonna have to mount the drill like this way as opposed to this way everywhere else. So I've only got 2 holes to drill here. See what looks like a VIN number or whatever, but it's got a production date here. It's off topic, but 9/22/76. The truck's is 78, so this frame was sitting around for a minute. Anyways, I'm gonna get set up, and the other thing I learned was when you're doing the drilling, that once you get it started, you just go, I've been going like this, doink, backing it off, letting it get oil on it and cool off, doink, not that fast, but you get the idea, just juke, juke, and that seems to, keep the bit from getting real hot. But that's kind of how it's going for me. Learning curve with everything. Well, this is my current situation. Getting my 2 holes I got to drill here. Got my little can set up. This is pretty challenging. There's not much room. Big problem is mounting the drill this way, I'm not getting a full clamp from my magnets. See how it's overhanging down there? I can't turn it sideways, so there's not enough room between here and here. I mean, I'd have to take this off to get a mount that direction. So I have to go real slow and use light pressure. It's probably gonna, if it binds, it's gonna knock the whole drill off the frame. It's not got a good clamp, and I don't have any clamps big enough and deep enough to clamp here back around to the inside of the frame. So I might set you up and let you follow along for what's probably going to end up being a amusing disaster when this drill knocks itself off, but I'll let you watch anyways. Probably going to drop the drill. Don't laugh. Got to go real gentle and hope it don't bind. All right, so my current situation, got all my holes drilled, there, matching on the other side, those ones there. Now I'm to the point where I think it's in my best interest to go ahead and do a little bit of cleanup and painting on the frame rails. I have to do the cleaning. You know, you see all the pretty heavy buildup of dirt and debris that's everywhere. I mean, it's not bad, but like there's areas up under the frame rail, you know, like there on the transmission, areas that just have some dirt on them, like back of the engine block. Mainly right now I want to concentrate on the frame rails, but you can see like this whole section in here on both sides, and then out here you can see all that factory paint right there on the insides of the airbox assembly, both sides. See all this yellow paint? Well, it's technically green. In here they've already blacked it out. Didn't do an awesome job, but it is painted and it is clean. So, but from the inside of this box back, and then let's walk over here. Same story on this side. This side's relatively clean. They painted it, they rattle can bombed it. Like that side of the engine mount, or the cab mount, all black. But come over to this side where the tanks were in the way, it's all still the factory color. Like all this was all still, everything that was behind the tank is all factory colored. So I think I'm going to just do a quick power wash of all of this. All this stuff dirt under the frame rail. There's no way for them to get that off earlier. So I probably won't do much on the engine. I'll give it a quick shot, but I'm gonna have to cap. Sorry, car driving by. I'm gonna have to cap all my air lines that are disconnected like that. Tape them off, and I'll just give it a real quick power wash. And then probably a real light scuff, like 120 grit sandpaper inside and out. I don't know if I'll do any Bondo work. There's not hardly any that's needed. I don't know, see how that goes, but for sure I want to get at least like back to here, like right above the axles, all the way up to where all that stuff is still green. Basically get that painted, because there's no reason in, you know, going through all that trouble painting the straps and the mounts and polishing the tanks just to bolt it to this garbage. At least I can knock out, you know, basically the front of the truck to the back axles. At least get them, you know, pretty presentable and not looking like this. I mean, this looks terrible. Like rattle can black, factory paint with all the runs. there's no heavy rust or anything like that. Really not even any light rust other than just like that in a few spots. So I'll power wash it, you know, give it a real light scuff and paint it. Probably wrap the transmission and eventually paint that, potentially the engine as well, but I'll do that separate. Right now I just want to focus on the frame rails, get those cleaned up, and I'm not talking like 2 months of work, just a real quick job. Eventually, once this truck is totally sorted and I get everything cut out that don't need to be there, I'll probably just basically repaint, potentially blast the whole entire frame and chassis and give it a proper job, you know, pull that fifth wheel plate, make it look 100% right. But for right now, I just want to get the thing, you know, presentable while I'm getting it all mechanically sorted. All right, so moving on to the interior. I'm gonna do something here that's probably gonna bring out some hate, but that's just the way it is. The interior of this truck has been a farm truck for years. It's just had, you know, windows left open and driving around in dusty gravel roads and stuff its entire life. This thing is just absolutely filthy. Can't see it real well in the camera, but like everything under the dash, like in that crack there, and the floors, just terribly dirty. So I'm going to go ahead and strip off the rest of this insulation and get what's left of these floor mats out. There appears to be a little corrosion hole right through the floor there. I'm gonna get everything kind of cloth stuff pulled out, and I'm gonna wash this interior out. And by wash it out, I mean with a low power washer. Now, it's never really ideal to get water all over instruments and stuff like that, so I'm probably not gonna blast that off other than maybe a little overspray, but I am gonna hit the back of this panel here where the relays and all that stuff is, back behind the defrost vents. There's so much dirt in there. I mean, realistically, I don't see any other way to get it out. And if you don't get it out, every time you start the truck, turn the air on, go down the road, it's gonna be blowing dust all over my brand new interior, which is gonna make me mad. And all my pretty paint, I'll have all the stuff painted and, you know, restored to factory original. And I don't wanna be making all my stuff a dirty mess. And it's even dirtier over there on the other side where the air conditioning box is. And I also need to pull that side cover off that door and figure out why my window only goes down 2 inches and stops. As you'll recall, I put a window regulator from a junkyard truck in on that side, so I know it works. I think the track or something was off, something's out of alignment, but I'll have to pop that off too. Summertime, you definitely don't want that thing closed up. But in any event, we'll set up and get going. All right, so I've been working on getting the last of the insulation off of there with that grill brush there. And I got this sill plate off that covers this. And look at this buildup of dirt and debris that was underneath of that thing. I mean, this is why I'm power washing it. I mean, that's insane. It's everywhere in here. I'm gonna get what's left of this floor mat out and the rest of that insulation off and power wash the crap out of this. Anybody need a pin? Might still work. So I've been hard at work here in the cab, scraping off the remnants of this insulation and anything else that happens to be stuck. They had that insulation all over this whole transmission tunnel. Engine tunnel, I guess, would probably be more appropriate. This is kind of what I'm dealing with here. I mean, just astronomical amounts of dirt, and there just ain't no way to get it out other than power washing. So it's quite the mess. These are the air ducts. They're also full of dirt. Look how they come out. Like this. Oh, I hear one of my buddies, World War II steermen. I don't know if I can zoom in or not. Those are fantastic airplanes. I got quite a bit of seat time in those, actually. Last time I rode in one, I got to fly at about an hour. Well, actually closer to 2 hours. They're just an awesome airplane. Anyways, where was we? Yeah, just look at the dirt. I mean, there's no way to clean this other than water. I need to see if I can pull this heater box out that I'm sitting on, because there's literally like, I don't know, 3 or 4 inches of just dirt and debris and leaves and crap down in there. I know this is designed to come out, I think, because it's got quick disconnects on the wiring harnesses. So I'm gonna see if I can pull this out. May or may not set you up for that, but I need to get this air duct out too, because the floorboard's underneath it. So I'll figure something out here and bring you back. So I'm a little unsure of how I want to try to take this box apart and pull it out. It's got a couple of, looks like 3 actual like control cables. One of them's right here, curves the way down. One of them's over there. They're all in kind of bad shape, but I sure don't want to cut them. There's 2 bolts there, and then somewhere down in that mess. Then underneath, right there, and then in one other spot right there, there's heater hoses go through the floor. AC hoses do as well, but they're not there. So I'm gonna try to take this out without destroying anything. Those cables, they go up, curve around behind the dash, and go right there to that little guy there. In all likelihood, when I put the AC system together for this truck, I'm gonna use an aftermarket, like a classic auto air setup like I use in my muscle car stuff. And I think I can buy a unit that'll fit inside of this box. So what I would probably do in that situation is just completely pull this box out, gut everything, and put the new stuff in there. These trucks also, on a side note, are notorious for you know, freezing your butt off when it's cold out, having to have a blanket on over there. The heater's over here, little bitty heater core, you know, it just gets cold up there. So I think I'm going to either use one of those little diesel heater things that use a little bit of your diesel fuel to make heat, or put a second heater core somewhere in the system, preferably over there somewhere, potentially down there in that storage well that, you know, blow out under your feet or whatever. That's probably the easiest to do, so you can have plenty of heat in the summertime. But I'm trying to figure out how to get this out. The whole unit's gonna have to come out. Most of the stuff in here doesn't work, so, you know, in disrepair anyways. You know, just nothing is intact, so just need to gut it anyways. No matter what, nothing in here is likely to work, with the exception of possibly the heater core. So it's got to come out anyways. If I have to in the short term, I can put the thing back in there with nothing in it, you know, until I get the air set up working. We'll set up. I may pull this off camera, I don't know. What do you guys think? You want to watch or no? Well, this ain't happening. These dudes are just completely, totally seized up. I mean, those right there coming through the floor are copper. Right there and there. And these fittings are just absolutely seized. So I guess I'm just gonna have to cut them. To save the heater core itself, I'll just probably zip them right here. The hoses are junk probably as well. They have shutoffs on them. It doesn't seem to want to turn, so I'm gonna guess they're shut off, but good chance they aren't, and I'm gonna cut those, and it's gonna be a antifreeze bath. But we'll soon find out. They are kind of high up in the system, but, well, I guess not really. Potentially lose half a antifreeze out of the radiator. So what I'll do is I'll pull those straps loose, and I'll have a bungee cord up on the front of the truck, so if they are loaded full of antifreeze, I can just route them up and as soon as I cut them or break them off, and strap them up where we don't lose all the antifreeze, at least in an uncontrolled manner on top of the tire. So I will go ahead and get something ready to cut those. Hopefully I can just cut them about half through and split them, and even more so, hopefully the radiator valve there has already been shut off. But I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Probably set you up when I cut them just so you can laugh at me if it makes a mess. Well, hope y'all are ready to watch me take an antifreeze bath. I'm gonna cut one, then the antifreeze will be puking out of both of them until I cut the other one and strap it up, or at least till the cover runs out. Probably ought to cut the back one first. Yep. Next. That was fun. So here's where having an extra set of hands would be handy. You gotta get that nut off and that nut off. To get to it, I gotta be down here and I gotta be up here at the same time. And I have not quite figured out how to do that. So I gotta reach down in there, get on that bolt, and this back one is just absolutely buried under God knows what. I don't even want to think about it, but anyways, so I'm gonna set to try to get a wrench down in here, and then we're gonna go down the bottom there and see if we can turn it without knocking the wrench off. Sound like fun? Think it'll work? I don't know either. All right, let's try it. I give us about a 10% chance that it'll not pop off. Better not let no tension off. If I let the tension off that wrench, it'll pop right off. Come on, baby. Make me proud. It's coming. Uh-oh. These bolts are real long, probably 2.5 inches, 3 inches. Okay, so that's off. Hey, got lucky. Amazing, amazing. Okay. Try it again in a second. All right, we're gonna try it again. I'm gonna need y'all to hold your breath, please. Otherwise, my wife's gonna have to come help. She's gonna love that. Can't get to this one. You'd think on a big truck you'd be easy to get to everything. Not the case. That didn't sound good. It sounded like it fell off. Okay. Option number 2, we're going to put a channel locks on this. Lock it down, turn it from the top. Bear with me. Okay. Let me know when them pliers fall off. So at this point, I gotta get a bunch of wiring harnesses loose. And probably some improper grounding, stuff like that. Okay. Like I said before, this system has, for reasons unknown to me, 3 fans. 3 fans, and they still suck, from what I've heard from the old timers. And young timers, if you don't consider yourself old yet. Now the connectors are all burnt up anyways. Okay, so that's part of it. Here's your over here. Around the corner, more cut wires. Behind the seat belt. Okay, and this one. Okay. And some really cool splicing. Not sure what that was. That's gonna have to be cut. We just bypass this connector, see? Cut the wires, stuck this jumper in here. Made it more of a permanent installation. Okay, I have to go get my cutter for that. What else? These 2 wires definitely don't look factory. They're also tied into stuff. Somebody manually manipulated the electric fan, so these must go up to a rocker switch in the dash. Also gonna have to cut. Okay, so we're just gonna go ahead and do a delete on these. Not factory anyways. Deleted. Also a ground, not factory. Deleted. Okay. Up, one more. Also not factory. Also deleted. Okay, that harness is done. Okay, so like I said, these control cables, I think I can get behind the dash and get these off. I have to pull the control unit out. I'll do that. We'll do that in a minute. Okay, so what else we got? We got a seat belt in the way. Another seat belt. That one's stuck to something. I don't think that's been worn in decades. Okay, what do we got here? Okay, that harness plugs into that fan. Okay. So that's deleted. What's that go to? That's a ground. Okay, there's some more non-factory grounds back there. And a whole bunch of fasteners laid on top of this motor. Electric motor. Not sure where they came from. Could have fell out of the seat on my test drive. This truck's gonna get a whole lot of new hardware when I put it back together. Yeah. Oh hey, when did you guys get here? Okay, it'll be really nice to be able to get in this truck and not get dirty. I'm kind of a clean freak, honestly. I do not like mess. I don't like dirt for there to be no reason to be dirt, you know. Just people being lazy and not cleaning. The truck should have never got this messy. Oh, semi-truck. Sorry, distracted. Bird. All right, see what we get. Okay, that's just a face. Oh, no, it's all of it. Hopefully it'll give me enough room to kind of snatch it out of the hole here. That cable is going to need some persuasion. Okay. Come on, baby, I need another inch. These old cables are going to be brittle. Okay, that's just barely enough. And what's up with this cable? It's all stretched out and cattywampus. Like I said, this truck I'm probably going to put aftermarket air in, so it isn't going to matter. This stuff will go right in a box and sit there till I die. And then my wife throws it away when nobody knows what it is. Guess I better label the box, huh? Looks like we have no cable for that one. I might have pulled that off when I pulled that over there out. Okay. These old plastic cables don't hold up well to decades of abuse. I'll pull the screws out, give me a little more flex. That bottom one's going to be hard to get to. Okay. That's better. So I need to get this off, and it's not going to cooperate. Don't have the right tools. I'll be back. Alright, so I'm about to get it. Well, I use the right connector. Releaser. There it comes. Got one left. I need to mark that, what that was, because I will forget. Okay. These little cat nuts, squeeze them just tight enough where they'll spin, but not so tight they squeeze the stud. I just snap them back on. Here. Out. These wiring connectors weren't even connected to the switches. This would explain why when I went like that, it didn't do anything. Okay, put these back in the hole. I should be able to modify a aftermarket head unit to fit right in here. The new stuff, except for some of the vintage air stuff, pretty much all of it is electrically controlled. There's no more cables, so I shouldn't need these cables ever again. Good thing, 'cause they're mostly broke. Okay, let me label this light. Well, I've got 18 feet of cables disconnected out of the dash. This one, let's see, this one goes to a vent. This is probably how this was built in the factory. Stuck in here as a unit, completely assembled. 99% sure of that. Most of these, everything like this would, on an assembly line, would be sub-assemblies. Okay. Question is, will it cooperate? Go straight up. Oh, man. Okay. Should be just fine if I need to reuse the hose. Excuse me. Untangle the seat belt. Box actually pretty heavy. Good God. Got big enough cojones for that. Again, an extra set of hands would be great. Get it halfway out. Holy crap, it's dirty back there. That is gross. I've said that a lot on this truck. Got another ground. Another snip. Okay. That's why you don't do things out of order. You don't want to have your truck all painted and be doing this crap. Oh, puking antifreeze. That was not fun. Check this crap out. That's why we're power washing. How old do you think that toothpaste is? These air ducts go right under the floorboard. One's already pulled out from under the cab mount. Okay, got a nice golf ball, countless remnants of lunch, some Hawaiian punch. All right, I'm gonna pick this junk out of here and fire up the old pressure washer. Well, I'm gonna let you watch some of this, but some of it's gonna be incredibly difficult to not be shooting the camera and myself with water. Knock some of the heavier stuff out first, and probably drink a lot of water. This is a pretty low volume, low power sprayer, so I'm not particularly worried about anything going wrong here. Let it all soak for a minute. I'm going to do what probably everybody's going to cringe about now. This isn't hot either, it's cold. right, well, I think you get the idea. I'll show you when I'm done. Well, this here's about where I'm at with it. It's a million times better. This whole thing was just packed solid full of dirt, remember? Cleaned up pretty well. The floor, especially the one on the other side, is going to need a lot more aggressive cleaning. And I found this. It's not good. So, looks like I'll be doing at least a section of a floor pan. Yeah, it's corroded right through, and that's a fairly big spot. So, that's a bit of a downer, but it's to be expected. I do have to have somebody here TIG welding on this rig anyways. All the cracks in the back. So I didn't touch this spot. And remember, I'd gone through and cleaned this one, scrubbed it with bleach, and it don't look as clean as what I've just done. Needs a lot of detail work and stuff, but we'll go look at the other side. All right, this side doesn't show quite as much of an improvement. Got rid of all the heavy stuff, but what's there is baked in there pretty good, so it's going to take a pretty aggressive cleaning. Also got in there, but and the one on the other side, but it's still just like this floor. It's still pretty dirty. It won't take much to get this up. Most of this is just dirt, but it's just baked on, caked on over the decades of use. Everything else cleaned up pretty good. See in here, I can actually see black wires instead of brown wires. This cleaned up real nice. I'm gonna leave the truck open. It's kind of breezy today. Just gonna leave everything open and let it kind of dry out. Don't think nobody's gonna steal the truck, but you can actually see, you know, labels, and it looks pretty good now. So I don't regret doing this at all. We desperately needed it. And that sprayer that I used was pretty low pressure, so I'm not concerned. And like you can see, actually see these bulkhead connectors where you could not before. So that was a good win. I plan on going through all this electrical stuff anyways. Probably break loose every one of those connectors and clean them and put them back together. So this was a huge win for the interior, for sure. I also did a real quick pass on the frame here. Mostly just got the oil and stuff off from my hole drilling project. Got some of the dirt off of all this stuff that I'm gonna do a lot more degreasing and cleaning on, but shot the motor. A little bit of the loose stuff came off. So it's all looking pretty good. Got some that heavy dirt that was in there. Knocked some of the stuff off these lines. So she's cleaning up pretty good, and I haven't even really tried hard yet. Just gave it a quick shot. Give it a real heavy degreaser and really get the thing looking good. So we'll have these frame rails painted up, and probably the transmission as well, pretty quick. Hey guys, I guess I'm gonna bring this video to a close. Getting real close to my 45-minute limit. So we'll bring you back next time, and probably try to get my frame rails cleaned up and potentially primed and painted, and a couple other deals I want to get done. As always, appreciate you following along. We're about that close to 1,000 subscribers. That's going to be pretty cool. It's going to be probably the first big milestone for the channel. So I plan on doing like some free t-shirt giveaways and stuff like that. But thanks again. Till next time.